Hi everyone, so as we all know, the Online Chess Olympiad is going on, and finally the top division has started and India played an amazing game of chess. What a great performance on the very first day of this tournament. So before going into the game, let us just quickly look at the overall standing. So there were 3 rounds from day 1. India won against Zimbabwe with 6-0. India won against Vietnam with 4-2. This round was a little bit tough and Indian player faced a little bit of trouble, but at the end everything went well for Team India and India managed to win with 4-2. And finally in round 3, India won against Uzbekistan with 5.5-half. And let us look at the final standing. Oh my god, India is leading. India is currently on the top of the list. India is ahead of Germany and China and Iran and all the strong teams, and this is gonna be really a great boost for Team India for the rest of the tournament, and this is also gonna be really helpful towards the end of the tournament. So let's see what happens. Let's hope for the best. For right now, it's a great news for Team India, and Team India is playing such an amazing chess. So let's hope for the best and let's see what happens on today, day 2. However, so in this video we're going to look at one game from round 2. Team India was playing against Team Vietnam and it is board 5. Nihal Sarin from Team India is gonna play against Nguyen Anh Khoi from Team Vietnam, a very strong chess player, 2 times world youth champion, a really strong player just like Nihal Sarin. The reason I chose this game to show in this video is that this game is full of ups and downs. Anh Khoi played an amazing game of chess, and the truth is that in the middle, the position was completely lost for Nihal, but Nihal fought till the end, and one single mistake, it was not a kind of losing mistake, but a kind of winning to equalish mistake by Anh Khoi, and Nihal completely crushed, taking advantage of a single opportunity given by his opponent, and it went absolutely brilliant for Nihal, converting a losing position into a win, even under this tremendous time pressure. It takes a lot to do this, and we know that how much Nihal is good in this kind of situations. It's a bread and butter for Nihal because he plays these kind of things more or less every day. We watch him streaming against these super GMs, Hikaru Nakamura and Anish Giri and all. So the Nihal is pretty good with this. So let us see what actually happened in this game. Anh Khoi is playing with the white pieces, Nihal with the black pieces, and white begins the game with d4, black replies with d5. The queen's pawn opening on the board, c4 by white, queen's gambit is what we are looking at, and Nihal here goes for c6, the Slav defense, but the opening is gonna transpose to queen's gambit accepted anyway. So let's see what happens in the game. White goes for knight f3, knight f6 by black, both the sides are going for development, and white develops the queen to b3, and after d into c4, queen into c4, we are looking at the Mannheim variation of queen's gambit accepted here. So if you look at the position, white has 2 pieces active versus black's 1 piece. So black here goes for some rapid development, bishop f5, activating the bishop with the idea of e6 and activating the other bishop here. So white here goes for g3 with the idea of fianchetting the bishop on g2. e6 now, both the sides are sticking to the plan. Bishop g2 creating room for the king to castle. Bishop e7 also creating a room for the king to castle. White castles, black castles, and finally e3 by white, solidifying the position here. And now both the sides will just go for developing the rest of their pieces. So black here first goes for knight db7, developing the knight here. White goes for rook d1, activating the rook here. h6 by black with the idea of bishop h7. Also this pawn is now preventing this knight to jump on g5. The e5 square is protected by the knight. So this knight cannot come forward and annoy black. So that is the plan here. However, white here goes for queen e2 with the idea of bishop f1 maybe, and also activating the queen side here. Black goes for bishop h7 as we were discussing earlier. Knight c3 by white, going for development. Knight e4 now, with the idea with offering an exchange here, because now this bishop will be active, this bishop will be very much active, this knight is gonna come on f6 anyway. However, instead of exchanging, white here goes for a knight e1. Now this knight is being attacked twice by the knight and this bishop, and it's being defended once by the bishop. So black here goes for knight df6 anyway, defending the bishop here. And after f3, knight into c3, b into c3 is kind of forced, and black here goes for knight d5 with the idea of knight b6 and activating the knight on the queen side. This knight is gonna be alive after going on b6. Bishop d2 now, white's idea is to push c4 and c5 and activating the bishop here, and Nihal here goes for queen a5. But wait a minute, queen a5, isn't it a blunder? After c5, this queen is gonna be under attack, a discovered attack, and queen has to move, and white is gonna lose the knight, isn't it? But no, there is no threat of that right now, because after c4, knight c3 is gonna be okay, counter attacking the queen here, and after bishop captures, queen captures, the position is equal. And there is a funny line after c4 here that is quite funny for me, at least. So after c4, if black goes for queen a6, then this pawn is pinned because the queen is under attack. So if you look at this queen right now, it's surrounded by the white pieces, but none of them are defending this queen, which is a kind of weird. So geometry plays an amazing role on chess, as we know. However, white here goes for e5 now, pushing this knight, and knight b6, as black was planning to go for knight b6 anyway, so that's very good. But now white goes for rook db1, and now the situation is getting... So what is the threat here? The threat is c4 is coming, a discovered attack on the queen. Queen has to move, then c5 is coming, an attack on the knight. And after these two pieces moves, this b7 pawn is hanging, and this rook is gonna capture the b7 bishop and the b7 pawn. And there some kind of problem is there also. This a pawn is now gonna push to a4 and a5. So let's see how Nihal reacts to that. Nihal here goes for rook fd8 with the idea of rook d7 and defending the b7 pawn here. But simply a4, white here goes for pushing the pawn. Bishop f8 and bishop f1, and look, if this queen is going to a6, then queen captures, pawn captures, and then bishop captures, and it looks like white is gonna win a pawn anyway, and there is no way black can defend this. How black is gonna react to that? So e5 now, trying to break the center, but simply queen f2 now this queen even cannot go to the a6 square, because this bishop is lying on the a6 square, and this queen is gonna be trapped. So black needs to make some passage for the queen to go on the king side. So e into d4 is kind of forced, c into d4, and then queen h5, saving the queen here. Otherwise the queen is under attack, and the queen is gonna be trapped after any kind of mistake. So black here, white here goes for a5, kicking this knight after a knight d7, rook into b7, a rook on the 7th rank. At the same time, white is now in advantage. White is up a pawn. Also these pawns are looking weak, and it's gonna be really some problem. It looks like black is already facing some problem, and it is true, black is actually facing the problem. However, black here goes for knight f6 and bishop e3 with the idea of, now look, this d5 is coming, and now this pawn is gonna be attacked twice. So rook captures a7, and black is gonna lose another pawn. So white is now keep attacking and putting pressure on black. So rook d7 now, trying to exchange the rooks. So rook into d7, knight into d7, and then white is going for knight d3, bringing the knight into the game, because why not? queen g6 now, and then rook b1 by white. Now this rook is coming on the b7 square, and a rook on a 7th rank in this kind of situation is nothing less than a queen. It's gonna be deadly for black, and black is in some kind of huge pressure in this kind of situation. Let's see what happens, because it looks like black is gonna lose, and there is no defense, there is no proper defense. However, queen e6 by black with the idea of bringing the queen on the queen side and trying to invade into white's territory. White here goes for rook b7 now, bringing the rook on the 7th rank. This knight is under attack, and the point is that after this knight jumps to f4 attacking the queen, if queen comes on d6, then e5 is coming, and after removing the defender, white is gonna capture a piece here. So obviously knight is under attack, so knight needs to move here, knight f6, and then knight f4 anyway, attacking the queen here, queen c8. And look at black's pieces are really choked and paralyzed, and they are barely doing anything. However, now black is attacking the rook here, so a6 solidifying the rook on the 7th rank, and knight e8 with the idea of bringing the knight on d6 and putting pressure on the rook. White goes for bishop h3, going for counter attack, attacking the queen here. So queen d8 is obvious, and now rook into f7. And the idea is that this rook looks like the rook is hanging, but obviously it's not, because after king into f7, there is a deadly attack by white. So I would urge you to pause the video in this position and try to find the best move for white here. Well, it is not the best move, rather it's a winning move, which is queen a2 check. Now this diagonal is defended by the queen, and these two squares are defended by the knight. So the only two choices for the king to go are e7 and f6. e7 is instantly losing, because queen e6 is checkmate simply. And if king f6, then also queen e6 check. The only possibility for black is king g5, queen e5 check, bishop comes, and then queen into f5 is gonna be a checkmate. So the only way to save the position is queen d5 now, losing the queen here, and anything like pawn captures or knight captures, it's gonna be losing for black here. So instead of capturing the rook here, black goes for knight d7, attacking the rook here, but simply rook d7. White is now ahead 2 pawns, and it looks really ugly for black. The pieces are paralyzed and choked. What they're gonna do right now? But however, it is Nihal Sarin under time pressure. He is a beast, so let's see. However, this rook is defended by the bishop, and it's attacking the queen, so queen needs to move. Queen a5 now, and in this position, anything like activating the pieces, so the bishop, this dark square bishop is a little bit paralyzed. So I think knight e6 is simply good, activating the bishop, also attacking the bishop, activating the knight, and bringing the pieces slowly on the king side, and it's gonna be simply winning for white. But white here goes for queen b2 with the idea of bringing the queen on b7 maybe, and joining the rook on attack. But that's a kind of blunder, a mistake. And Nihal Sarin, both the players are under tremendous time pressure, but in this kind of situation, Nihal is a beast here, and anything as simple as queen e1 and forking the king and the bishop, this bishop is hanging, is a piece of cake for Nihal. So Nihal goes for the absolutely right move. Queen e1 also invading into white's territory, and it's looking ugly now for white. So king g2, even bishop f1 was possible, because bishop is hanging anyway. So queen into e3 now, e5 attacking the knight, and this knight is now coming on b5. b5 to c3 to e2, and now the g1 square is vulnerable, that you can also find on the thumbnail. So here white goes for bishop e6 check. That simply can be saved with king h8, and bringing the bishop back to g4 now, and then knight c3 finally. Queen b7 by white, but this g7 square is safely protected by the bishop. However, this rook is under attack, so obviously rook e8 first, queen into c6, gobbling up another pawn here, but simply knight e2 now, and now this position is completely winning for black. And also Anhui is under time pressure. He was under 10 seconds or 20 seconds or something, and there is no way possible. However, white here goes for knight g6 check, bishop captures, queen captures, and simply queen g1 check, king h3, queen f1 check, king h4 now. And now the winning move is queen g2, queen into h2 giving checkmate is coming. So bishop h3 is the only alternative here, only possibility here, queen into h2 anyway. And now this knight is coming on g1, and it's gonna be a checkmate after queen into h3 here. However, in this situation, Nihal went for bishop e7 check, and that's a losing position for black again, because here white will simply go for capturing the bishop. Rook into e7 now, and bishop f5 threatening a checkmate on the h7 square after king g8. Queen h7 check is coming, and after king f8 bishop g6 is legit, because now the threat is obviously queen h8 is gonna be a checkmate. So rook c7 now, and it's gonna be a mate in 3 or 2, I guess. So the move is queen h8 check, and after king e7, which is the only move, queen e8 is gonna be a checkmate. However, Anhui is under tremendous time pressure, so he did not find the right move. This kind of calculation and looking for this kind of tactic in this position is completely trying to find a single pearl in this huge ocean. However, after bishop e7 check, white here goes for king h5, which is completely losing. Nihal instantly goes for knight into g3 check. This king has nowhere to go, so the only move is h into g3, queen h1 check, and it is on move 47. In this position, white Anhui resigned, because the only move is bishop h3 and queen into h3. It's gonna be a checkmate. So Nihal went on winning this game. It's a huge thing for India, because otherwise India could have just even lose the tournament, lose this round against Vietnam. However, Nihal has shown a tremendous nerve against the strong opponent of Vietnam, and one can say, yeah, his opponent played bad, and one can say that it's a complete luck. But the thing is that chess is a legit sport, and like any kind of sport, chess is also run by adrenaline rush and also psychological imbalances and all those kind of things. So it really matters how you deal with pressure and these kind of tensed situations. And Nihal is just shown that he is actually has the potential to become world champion, because a world champion should have the quality to deal with pressure. So with this, however, we are coming to the end of the video. Let's hope for the best for Team India on day 2. That's gonna be happen today. So with this, we are coming to the end of the game, also end of the video. I am taking your leave for right now. See you next time with some other exciting game of day 2 of Online Chess Olympiad.